Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. So, I've just got up, I'm on my second coffee of the day, and I'm going to give you an update, finish off what happened in the stalking trial of Madeleine McCann yesterday. So I did. Now there is a playlist of the stalking trial. I did a live yesterday, and then I sort of tidied that up and took all the waffle out of it, and then released the video as well. So there's the live, if you like the waffle from yesterday on the live streams, or there is a shorter version. This is not going to have any waffle. I've realised I've just waffled a little bit there. I'm just going to go straight into it. The trial of these two women, I'm not even going to go into all the details. I presume that you know the situation. These two women are accused of stalking, the relentless stalking of the McCann family, who, of course, the parents and siblings of Madeleine McCann, who went missing all those years ago. And nobody knows, well, somebody knows what happened to her, but it's never been established, has it, what happened to her? So let's get straight into it. Um, I must admit, the more I look at this trial, it feels like a show trial. This woman, honestly, in my opinion, this woman who's telling Kate McCann I'm not crazy, she is crazy. I'm sorry, but she is. So, she's got such, I don't know what can be done about it, because I'm not a psychologist. I'm not sure that anything can be done about it to change anything. Because I feel with this woman, Julia Wandelt, even when it's proven beyond a reasonable doubt that she is not Madeleine, when it's proved expressly that she is not, there will always be something else that she will move on to. Now, we're already seeing evidence that during this trial, she has now apparently said as well, we're going to look at an article in, I think it's GB News, so I don't think it's mentioned in this Sky News update. She's now saying that if she is not Madeleine McCann, then maybe she was held with her. Maybe that's why she's got these memories. So if she's finally sort of admitting, at least to herself, because she's had DNA evidence since she was arrested, if she's finally admitting to herself that she's not Madeleine, now she's saying, well, maybe I feel like this because I was held in the same place as Madeleine. Do you see what I mean? She's always going to go on to something else because her problems are so much more deep-seated, aren't they? And in fact, I think I'll read that out before I start with the other thing. So, a Madeleine McCann impersonator claims she may have been held captive with the missing girl herself. And the Polish defendant told the court she had memories recovered through hypnosis that are genuine, suggesting if she was not Madeleine, which she previously claimed that she was, she must have been held with her and other abused girls. Now, she had never previously mentioned this theory. So where's this come from, And she said, if I wasn't Madeleine, there was always a chance I was held with her if I wasn't her. I can remember certain faces, some names, and what the place looked like. And she said she did not want to give the family false hope. And she told the court, apparently, if you compared false hope and potential truth coming out, I'm not a mother, but I have younger siblings. If my sister or brother went missing, I would do everything if I had a little hope. It's just wrong. The whole thing is wrong, really. It's starting to get a bit embarrassing. That it's like holding up, it's like a show trial, holding up a person who is clearly mentally disturbed, holding them up for ridicule, really, almost. Now, as far as Karen Sprague's concerned, I don't know what she's doing. Look, let's see if you can see my Riley's doing his usual. You probably can just see You can see the tip of his nose. I don't know. He's come for a cuddle. There he is. Yeah, he comes for a cuddle sometimes, doesn't he? When I start, all right, all right. When I start a live, he likes to get his face on camera. Yeah, so that'll be the next thing, you know, when this is over and she finally accepts she's not Madeleine. It'll be I was held with Madeleine McCann. This girl, she's not going to stop one way or another because she's just desperate for attention. She's desperate to be anybody else except Julia Wandel. Okay, so going back to the trial, to the Sky News coverage of the trial. Now, unfortunately, of course, there are no cameras allowed in there. We have to rely on what reporters, you know, report. And of course, I'm not saying they don't report the truth. What I'm saying is, of course, everyone's got their different view. Here's different things. You can't repeat exactly what happened. So, you know, we have to be aware of that. So where we're coming in is where we finished yesterday, where the court took a break and the court came back from the break. And this is what they said. So she tried to call Madeleine McCann's mother, leaving a message. Defence counsel Tom Price, yeah, because she was still with her defence counsel, read out some parts of her message. Hi, it's me, Julia. I know you don't want to speak to me. I don't know why. I don't understand this. I just need one call with you. That's all. Which is rubbish because we all know one call would not have been the end of it, would it? I don't need anything else. And I can promise that if after the call you're not able to speak to me, I will not bother you. More lies. In fact, you know, that's just not true. I'm sorry, but it isn't. It doesn't matter how many times she would have got on the call. You know, she's just relentless, isn't she? I don't need anything else yet. I will not bother you. I just want to tell you what I remember. You can decide if you want to do a DNA test or not. That's not true either because Kate said she's not doing one. And Julie won't give up. I'm not crazy. Well, she is. I'm sorry, but she is. I just want you to know that I never lied. I don't want money. All I need is one call with you. You know, I think maybe it's true she doesn't want money. It seems like her family is quite well off. I mean, certainly well off enough. I mean, who's giving her the money that she's got to jet all over the world? She's been to America. She's come to Britain a couple of times. You know, where's she getting the money from? Because she doesn't work, I don't think. So, you know, maybe she doesn't. You know, I don't think it is about money with Julia. Even just looking at this sketch now, honestly, I'm starting to. It's worrying about this girl and mental health. And this is a bit like a show trial. It should not have come to a trial, really. But then I do think her and that Karen and all these bloody YouTubers that gave her a platform, they've led her to this place. Terrible, really. I'm that lawyer, Singh. So she was asked about contact with her co-defendant Karen Spragg, and then defence counsel Tom Price moves on to discussing contact Julia had with Kate. As far as Spragg was concerned, Wandel said they were talking daily and discussing everything. Then she explains why she reached out to Kate McCann in April 24, getting her phone number from the Portuguese side. That's a bit worrying, isn't it? From the Portuguese side. So it feels like, did the Portuguese give her they should not have given out Kate's number? Yeah, I'd be very interested where she got her number from. Asked if she was aware that the topic of Madeleine McCann was a sensitive one for the parents, she says yes. She says she never intended to cause harm to the McCann family. And she claims that she believed reaching out would be helpful. And she tells the jury I got the impression that police did not pass any information to Kate and Jerry. I just thought they were misled and I just wanted to explain. This is how obsessive stalkers talk. And I know because I've had an obsessive stalker, and they will, the way they talk about, oh, I just wanted to know that you were all right, or oh yeah, no, I don't mean any harm, or oh yeah, and they will say anything. I just wanted to explain. And then, you feel bad. And so you give them a chance. And then you think, oh, that'll be the end of it. And it's not the end of it. It's never the end of it. It's never the end of it. There's always a dramatic conclusion to these kind of things. And it makes you wonder where this is going, where it would have gone if they hadn't gone to the police in the end. And this representation, see this blue curtain there, remember that was put up so that she could not see Kate and Jerry. And that was special treatment that they got, because most people who are stalked, or even actually in the end actually attacked, assaulted, they don't get a blue curtain in between them and their sort of stalker or their offender. So they did get special treatment. I mean, I'm not, I would have liked a blue curtain between me and my stalker. You would always have wanted that, because it is. But just the point I'm trying to make is that is not something that's offered to everybody, is it? So, makes you wonder why it's not. It should be, really, I suppose. So then Mr. Price reads out some more messages, and in one of these, the court hears that Wandel set out what she claimed were detailed memories of the McCanns, including the abduction. So she says she can remember it all. And Price asks if she intended to cause upset by telling Kate this, but Wandel says she didn't. One of the messages to Kate says, I will never give up. I need you to know I'm telling the truth. I cry when I hear your voice. Now, as I've said previously, whatever you think of the McCanns, whatever you think happened to Madeleine, we all know they should never have left the children on their own. They're lucky they didn't lose all three of their children, to be honest. But it's very, because whatever did happen to Madeleine, Kate has had to live with it one way or another, hasn't she? Whether you think she had something to do with it or not. It will be very harrowing to hear this woman, whatever, it'll be harrowing to hear this woman claiming that she's Madeleine and she remembers her voice and, remembers being abducted, etc. Some of the things she says, and they're always targeted to Kate. This is something that does irritate me about Julia. She knows Kate's a more vulnerable one, so she targets Kate more, calling her mum and this, that, and the other, and emotionally blackmailing her. She doesn't do the same with Jerry, does she? Because she knows she won't get away with it. So she's now repeated her criticism of police involved in the disappearance of Madeleine McCann. She tells the court they should have taken her calls to them more seriously. And yesterday we heard criticism from her of how various police forces handled her claims. She also says that this was one reason she wanted to contact the McCanns, so they knew, she claims, how the police were treating her. Madeleine's not dead. Wandel says, I want to know where I come from. Who are my parents? And I think Kate and Jerry should know. She's so narcissistic as well. So she wants to know where she comes from. She doesn't care who she's going to hurt trying to find out. She had the other two families. She's claimed to be two other missing girls. That didn't work out. So she moved on to Madeleine. And you can bet 100% the very next thing it'll be, because it's been proven now that the DNA doesn't match, it'll be that then she knew Madeleine, she was held with Madeleine. Now all these memories are coming back to her. They were held in the same place, they were trafficked by the same person. She's going to come out with something else instead, because she will not accept that she is Juliet Wandel. In one of the messages to Kate, she adds, I know people believe Maddie's dead. Well, she's not. She also says, I know you loved Madeleine. I know you loved me. Just, honestly, it's awful. Awful. And that's when my sympathy goes. Because I can feel sorry for Julia for her mental, obvious mental health issues, but it's just so nasty. It's just so horrible what she's doing, because she's not caring about anybody else's mental health issues. She doesn't care. It's all about Julia. Julia. It's nothing to do. In fact, one of her Facebook names is all to do with her. Nobody else's feelings matter, do they? So then she was asked by her defence lawyer if it looks like she won't take no for an answer in her contact with Kate, Madeleine's mother. He asked her what would have stopped her trying to get in touch. Her answer, a DNA test. Later on, the court hears Wandel say to Kate in one of the messages, I'm only asking for DNA. In the message, the court is told that Wandel adds, I know you probably believe that Madeleine isn't alive anymore, but what if I'm her? What if there's a small chance I'm her? Is it not important to you? Emotional blackmail. This is only DNA and then we can all move on with our lives. She adds she doesn't want money or to move to the UK. Then the court moves on to her trip to the UK. She went to the UK for two reasons. This is not the time she was arrested. This is another time, to attend a Madeleine McCann vigil and to make physical contact with the British police. After meeting a friend in London, Wandel was driven up to the vigil. She tells the court, about 15 to 20 minutes before the gathering started, we were there from the very early morning because we didn't know when the vigil would start. We saw Kate and Jerry driving along the street next to the church, and that was why I left the car. While Wandel says she was convinced it was them, her defence lawyer, Tom Price, says the trial had previously heard they were not in the country at the time. Wandel says she went to look for them straight away but didn't find them, and later she burst into tears. Instead, she approached others and handed over a letter for Jerry and Kate McCann to their mum's aunt, Janet Kennedy. I had the letter. I was surprised when the priest said they are not there. Because she's so crazy. She's seeing them everywhere. Anyway, she says she's not crazy, but she is crazy. She's as crazy as a box of frogs. Continuing from our previous post, the court hears some contents of the letter Julia gave to Kate McCann's aunt, Janet Kennedy. Addressed to Kate and Jerry, she wrote, I thought I would see them today and we would talk. I presume I might be your missing daughter. See, that's the other, this total narcissism, isn't it? There it is, the vigil for the missing girl. Their missing daughter, and then the other bit, and she's making it all about her. It's all about her. Nobody else. Julia, look at me. I'm going to just take the attention for everything. She repeats her claim authorities didn't help her and that direct contact with the McCann parents was her last resort. I tried everything else. There was nothing else, she says in court, talking about the letter. Then the court hears she left England after 2 weeks, but decided a few months later, in autumn 2024, to return. And the court hears this is because of DNA tests she undertook from someone she met online. Dr. Monty Miller. Miller, the court hears, was sent items from the Portuguese investigation and suggested there was a familial connection when DNA from those items was compared to her own. It isn't clear what DNA was taken from the items. When you think about the McCanns, it's a shame, isn't it? Because imagine like you get up, we've all got up this morning and, you're sort of just living your life and, some good things, some bad things, trying to deal with shit that's going on generally. And as you're doing that, unbeknownst to you, some crazy person in another country is doing all this investigating and all this, there's things brewing that you don't even know about. It's quite scary, isn't it? It is scary, I think. Because, with stalkers, you really do never know what they're doing. And, my stalker was many years ago. There was no social media, thank God. All this technology of, otherwise definitely my car would have been tracked, or, he would have, he did well as it was without, electronic help. So, God knows how it would have been. Oh, it chills me to the bones to think about if it was happening today, how much more he would have been able to do. He did enough, as I say, all those years ago. But now, God, he'd have a bloody field day, because you just cannot. It really is. And maybe more investigation needs to be made into the psychology of stalking. What makes someone stalk? Because, not everybody does. Now, we've all been, I don't know, let down by someone at some point, had a relationship breakup. And maybe in the first, couple of weeks or even months, we might sort of be trying to get back with that person. I don't know, we might send them drunken texts or turn up, to try and talk to them. But I think most people, that doesn't last, does it? It's just because stalking is when it becomes a total obsession. To not stalking, send a drunken text, or, ask someone, oh, can't we please get back together? Maybe even a couple of times. But when you're just not getting the message, when you've been told no and you can't move on, these people, they cannot move on, whether it be a relationship or this kind of thing. It's definitely some, some people can do it and some people can't. And from my experience, for people that can't move on from a relationship, they're often people who themselves are seeing other people, and because they're not faithful maybe in the relationship. They're convinced that their partner is not faithful, because they can't understand that, because they do it, so they don't understand why their partner isn't doing it. But in all cases of stalking, be it like relationship based or this kind of stalking, or friends do it, it's so common, really. It's definitely, it needs psychologically looking at why people do it. Are some people more prone to this? Why can some people just can't move on? As I say, with Madeleine, with Julia, she will never move on. If she even accepts that she is not Madeleine, the next thing will be that she was held with Madeleine. There'll be another thing. It's not Madeleine, it'll either be another missing child, or it'll be, swapped to I am Madeleine to, oh, I was held with Madeleine. Because there's more, it's deeper, isn't it, than just thinking she's Madeleine McCann. Anyway, Dr. Miller's report said the DNA matched fairly well, more than I would expect at random. So here's another one. This bloody Dr. Monty Miller, who the hell are they? Encouraging her, leading her to this place where she's probably going to look at prison time. Asked by defence counsel Tom Price what she thought about it, she says, he had no agenda to lie to me. He said we match very well. It made me want to get a DNA test, the one I always requested, and asked if she was encouraged by the results. She replied yes. And after this, she again reaches out to the McCanns, claiming, I'm not crazy, I'm not a liar, adding that the test proves she may be Madeleine McCann. So again, encouraged by people who should know better. I'm going to look up that person in a moment. Monty Miller. Honestly, I'm really more angry with these people, you know, that have can't find anything on Monty Miller. There's a lot of Spanish that, you know, this is international news. Let's see if I put in Monty Miller. There he is. Here he is. He has the education, training and experience to provide expert services related to DNA, crime lab, crime scene investigation and paternity. Okay, but I'm not going to read all that out about him, but yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Did any of you know anything more about Monty Miller? That's the first time I remember hearing his name mentioned, to be honest. But that's him. Look at his photo. And he told her that it was possible. So there you go. That encouraged her again, didn't it? These people encouraging her in her delusions. Anyway. So Wandel turns to oh gosh, yes, this was the other thing, wasn't it? So she actually asked ChatGPT if she was Madeleine McCann. Sorry, it just seems ridiculous to me. So she now explains that after a DNA test with Dr. Monty Miller, she turned to ChatGPT. GPT. She tells the court, I was at the point where no one cared, no one wanted to help, and I just wanted to do everything I could. And the court hears that Julia put a series of questions to the AI chatbot, and in between giving answers in court, she turns to her supporters in the public gallery and gave them a slight smile. So she's got supporters there. We're now hearing from Julia about the time she went to the McCann's home where she spoke to Madeleine's mother, Kate, in December last year. And she says that when they first arrived, there was no car, and they stayed for around half an hour before leaving. She tells the jury she later returned to the McCann house and tried to speak to Kate. She says when she walked from where they were parked to the McCann house, she walked from where they were parked to the McCann house and Kate was outside. I said, Kate, Wandel says when asked what she said to Kate McCann after approaching their home. I didn't know what to say, she adds, telling the court she was about a metre away from Kate. She says, I started crying straight away. I got too upset. I planned to say other things. I did not say any of them. I said, I would like to speak with you, and can we speak for 2 minutes? She said, no. She said she will call the police. I said, the police don't care. I think I said if she wants to call the police, she can. Maybe I said it. Meanwhile, she says that co-defendant Kate Spragg was what I thought was Karen Spragg. Isn't her name Karen? I don't know. Maybe it's Kate. Oh, God. Was walking behind me. And Wandel's defense lawyer, Tom Price, says that Spragg said something along the lines of, yeah, it's Karen Spragg, isn't it? They've got mixed up here with Kate McCann. Why don't you speak to your daughter? I planned to, oh, God. So Karen said something like, why don't you speak to your daughter? I planned to say other things and I didn't say any of them, she tells the jury, adding she said little else beyond asking to speak with Kate and trying to hand over documents she claimed formed evidence of her identity. The conversation took place outside the house, the court hears, And the court hears that Spragg also said, "She is your daughter." And Kate replies, "She is not my daughter." And Wandelt says, Kate added, "Julia, please go away." Now, we could think that she knows 100% that Julia is not her daughter. After going inside, the 24-year-old Polish woman admits she knocked on the door as she was crying. "I was crying a lot." That's, she does a lot of crying, doesn't she? When she can't get her own way. So Jerry McCann then arrived after the co-defendants tried to speak to his wife. And Wandelt says, Jerry McCann said to her, "Julia, I think you need help." "I was talking, I was mostly saying I wasn't lying," she adds. Eventually, Jerry also went into the house and he also refused to take Wandelt's documents. "I became even more upset. I started crying. I tried to calm down again. I started panicking," Wandelt says. And they pause for lunch. Okay. Court resumes. So after lunch, Julie Wandelt's lawyer, Tom Price, picks up where he left off with the defendant's visit to the McCann home in December last year. He reads to the court a letter from Wandelt to Kate McCann, Madeleine's mother. "Dear Mum, Kate." Dear me. "I'm so sorry for causing you so much distress. When I saw you yesterday, my emotions were so strong." Price says Wandelt told McCann all she wanted was the truth and that Wandelt claimed she was her daughter. In her message, she adds, "I think you are scared, but whatever makes you scared, remember that you are stronger than that." I mean, so bloody condescending as well, isn't it? It's like targeting Kate all the time. "Oh, remember, you're stronger. I can help. The truth will set you free. Yesterday, I heard a lot of care and love in your voice." No, you didn't, Julia. This is what I'm saying. This is complete. What can you do against somebody like this? "I heard a lot of care and love in your voice." She told her she was trying. The thing is, the McCanns, whatever you think of them, they're aware that Julia is not quite right. She's not. And they know that. And, they're doctors, for God's sake. So, they're trying to be nice to her and not be horrible. Because they know that mentally she's got problems. So they're trying to be nice, but the fact of them trying to be nice is almost making it worse. And honestly, this is how I would just say to anyone who's been stalked, don't try and be nice to them. I tried this with my ex-partner. It doesn't work because you're frightened of what they might do. You're, to you or to themselves. So you don't want to be too cruel or blunt or whatever. You try and save their feelings, but that does not work. Doesn't work. Because any little bit of kindness you show them, they will leap on it. Like, "Oh, well, she did say this," or, "Oh, they'll cling to it like a limpet and hold it against you later and say, "Oh, you led me on," or you weren't clear in the way you felt. So if you're being stalked, you have to be 100% blunt in every dealing with you that you have with that person. Still might not work. I'm not saying it will, because these people are relentless. But that's one thing I learned from my experience. I should never have tried to let him down gently, because it didn't work, because it just made him feel like I was leading him on. And, that's something that struck me like a bolt of lightning when I was listening to, sort of going off the point a little bit, to the Jack and Lily Sullivan case. And when Daniel Martel said he saw Malaya in the car park of when they were going to visit Meadow. And he said, "Oh, but the funny thing was, Malaya smiled." You know, that's what I just thought. You're a stalker. He is a stalker. He's a controller, because he's like, he's gone up behind Malaya in the car park, frightened her to death probably. My God, I would have jumped out my skin if that was me. Uh, and she smiled. Well, she smiled because she's terrified. You know, she's like, he's caught her completely by surprise. What's she going to do? Start shouting at him? She's in a car park on her own with him. She's probably terrified. You know, he's got sort of, there's certainly some domestic violence, it seems, in that relationship. You know, and when he mentioned that, he actually mentioned it in that interview he was doing, and he smiled. He loved that. So she smiled. You know, the funny thing was, she smiled. Yeah, that would be a nervous smile, Daniel, because you thought, my God, what's he going to do to me? You know, every time. So you can't even smile at these people. A smile will be a sign of encouragement. That's what I'm trying to say. Oh, well, she did smile at me, or he did smile at me. And, well, you know, he didn't sort of, you know, he did what some things I might have done with my, you sort of say, no, well, you know, I remember saying, oh, well, let's just see how it goes. Because to be honest, when I first left my ex-partner, wasn't supposed to be. I just needed some space because he was so controlling. And probably if he would have just let me go and, you know, left me alone instead of, like, you know, doing the things he did, maybe we would have ended up back together. But he proved my point by being stalkerish. So that made me realise I had done the right thing, and a temporary separation turned into a permanent separation. But what I'm trying to say is then, so he would take that, because I'd be saying, well, look, let's just see how it goes, trying to get him to just step back. And then, of course, that was the wrong thing to do, because it was like, oh, well, you know, you led me to believe that there might be some future for us. You just can't talk to these people in a normal way. So, you know, we've all got those sort of, you know, we've all, I say, I think there's not many of us who haven't been left in a relationship. Somebody's gone off with somebody else, or just gone off, or just fallen out of love with us, or whatever. We've all had to go through that in some point in our lives, I would imagine. But some people just can't accept it. And this is Julia. Hers is a different kind of stalking, because this is not a relationship thing, but she would be the same, I think, if it was a relationship. It's just Julia's obsession is just not proving she's not Julia, isn't it? So she said, I think you are scared, but whatever makes you scared, remember that you are stronger than that. Condescending. Yesterday, I heard a lot of care and love in your voice. I believe and hope you will find a way to contact me. Lots of love. Madeleine. So she signed off as Madeleine. Oh. So, you know, Kate was probably trying to save her feelings. And that she tried, you know, Kate tried to save her feelings, and to Julia, it's, I heard a lot of care and love in your voice. Crikey. So I think that was it for the day yesterday. Yeah, now they've recapped it like this. Now they don't mention the fact that the GB News mentioned, you know, that she's said that if she's not Madeleine, then she must have been held with her. I think that's very important, because that just shows the way Julia's mind works. She's already coming to terms with the fact that maybe she's not Madeleine, and moving on to the next delusion, you know, that maybe she was held with her. So the Sky summarise it like this. The jury heard of Wandel's repeated efforts to contact the McCanns. In one message to Kate, the court hears that she said, I know you loved Madeleine. I know you loved me. She said she tried to contact the family. She talked of her attempts to talk to Jerry and Kate, first by attending an annual vigil for their daughter, and then by going to their home. And she says that Kate told her and Karen Spragg that Wandel is not my daughter. And finally, the court heard how she and Spragg sent a letter to the McCanns the following day in December last year, which she signed off as lots of love, Madeleine. So that's where we are. I'm going to finish there, and I will be back with the updates. What day are we on today? It's Wednesday, so it'll be carrying on, I presume, the trial today. I don't know. I suppose Julia's got to finish giving her evidence, then she's got to be cross-examined by the prosecution, then Karen will give her evidence. So I think there's still quite a long way to go with this trial. And I may not do daily updates, but every now and again I'll give you an update of what's happened. And of course, this will end up with the verdict, and then if they're guilty, the sentencing. So don't forget to let me know in comments, do you think they will be found guilty, and what do you think, if so, the sentence will be? Okay, I'll see you really soon in the next video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Very important, free ways you can help my channel. And very important, press the notification bell so that you always get notifications and updates come through. Thank you. Till I see you again, may your God go with you. Bye.